Told you it was more relaxed than a TV show, Anthony.
All right, here we go. Hanging Left. Welcome, everybody. This is episode 14 of Hanging Left. I'm Matt Connerton, and of course, joined as always by my partner in crime in this endeavor, Todd Ayres here. Hello, Todd.
Hey, how are you?
Very well. How's it hanging?
It's hanging left as usual. You know, the only way to hang.
Hanging left, yes. And we have a guest with us here, Anthony Pelletier. Hello, Anthony.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Absolutely.
How old are you, Anthony?
I'm 16.
Okay, you're not an adult yet, so I'm not going to ask you how it's hanging. Normally, we would ask the guest, well, a male guest anyway, but I will not ask you that question because you are only 16. I don't want to violate any YouTube terms of service or anything like that. We don't want to get in any trouble.
Right. Epstein's in enough trouble. We don't need to join the circus.
That's right. Although being on the Epstein list might bring us some fame and fortune. Or at least fame. But
well, maybe fortune until they seize it from us, you know?
Right. Exactly. Well, so Todd, so you already know Anthony. So why don't I let you, if you want to kind of introduce Anthony or tell us how you guys know each other? Or
so Anthony, I and he can correct me. This is kind of how I view the whole thing. I invited Anthony on here because he is just this powerhouse of a teenage boy that basically saw this, heard the rumors of the ICE concentration camp coming in and was not going to sit back and wait for polite adults to offer him to do something about it. He stepped up to the plate, tapped into the people that he knew and decided to make some noise and, ideally help those of us, adults here help guide us in the best way to stop this thing.
Okay.
Was that accurate, Anthony? I don't know. What do you?
Yeah, that's completely accurate. I'm fed up with all of this and ready to fight back.
So what is it that brought you to this point, Anthony, where you, I don't know if you might be like me. I was, I got interested in politics I always say at an unhealthily young age. But I mean, how did you decide to get involved in this? What led to this at the age of 16?
Well, very similar to you. I really started getting involved with politics after January 6th. I saw what Donald Trump endorsed that day. I thought that it was completely unacceptable. I was not okay with it. So then after that, I kind of just started following it more and more. And then recently, Renee Good, her murder, Alex Preddy, her murder, that really got me involved, saying no to an ICE facility in Merrimack. So now I'm here talking to my state reps, talking to you guys, spreading the word around town, trying to get this to stop, trying to hold ICE and Donald Trump's administration accountable. And yeah, that's why I'm here. That's why I got involved.
Yeah, and that's why we invited you to come here. So, Anthony, I guess, am I correct in saying you did not agree with the sentiment that those people on Jan 6 were really just a bunch of peaceful protesters expressing their civil rights?
They definitely were not peaceful protesters. I've been to many protests. I've been to some in Concord, Nassau, right here in Merrimack, and that was not a peaceful protest.
I thought they were just overly enthusiastic tourists who got a little rambunctious. Is that
or patriots?
Not correct?
Weren't they also patriots?
Oh, yeah, very patriotic. Nothing says patriotism like beating up cops and all of that.
Yeah. I guess different people express their patriotism in different ways, right?
They sure do. They sure do. So that's what got you interested in. So how old? Yeah. I'm terrible at math. So you would have been 10?
I would have been about 10. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Old. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I would have been pretty young.
So at age, so basically at an age where, the country should be in a stable enough position that you should be able to focus on, I don't know, whatever the cool thing was at 10, but like Power Rangers or whatever it was, you were forced to focus on things like saving democracy.
Well, I actually remember it very well. So it was during remote learning because we were in COVID. So I just got off the Zoom meeting. It must have been about 10 o'clock. So I came out, I turned on the TV, and the first thing that popped up was the news. So I looked there and it was something that I've never seen before. It was hundreds of people at the Capitol marching towards the Capitol, and they were chanting, and it was awful. See right there, you have it right on the screen.
We do.
And yeah, and I watched the coverage the rest of the night. As soon as my grandfather came home, I showed him how unacceptable it was. So
Mhm.
I kind of remember that. So that was kind of the starting point.
Yeah.
What was the reaction from your family as you mentioned you showed this to your grandfather? Like, how did your family
Yes.
react to this? Because, and I'm curious on a couple of levels. One is I'm just interested in what their feedback was, and in terms of you taking an interest in this and so forth at 10 years old, but also, a lot of us, it certainly happened in my family. My father passed away in December, but he had become this hardcore MAGA dude who, of course, I imagine he probably had fantasies of being at January 6th. But to be honest, I mean, he probably did. I'm sure he would have loved that. But so how did your family react, your grandfather and others in your family, as you're showing them this and expressing your concern?
Well, they were definitely as much as concerned as I was. None of them wanted to be there.
Yeah,
I can
that's good.
definitely say that. I
You,
definitely did not want to be there.
so you have a
So,
normal family.
yes.
That's good. That's good.
Yes.
Yeah. I can concur with that, Anthony. My family was also not doing champagne toasts to the disaster that was occurring.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's good. Well, I envy you both. Um, and then, so I assume, I mean, they probably nurtured this, right? That your interest in this.
Yeah, I would say so. None of my family is really as politically engaged as I am.
Okay.
So a lot of the stuff I do with friends, myself, like protests by myself sometimes. Obviously, I meet up with people that I know. I don't want to
Hmm.
make it sound like I'm there alone. That would be unsafe. But
Yeah.
um, but yeah, I'm really the most politically engaged in my family. They all kind of like sit back, watch, agree with me, but
Hmm.
yeah.
Do they ever kind of say to you, "Hey, why?" Like, does anyone in your family ever say to you, "Hey, why can't you just be a normal kid?"
I mean, it's probably come up a couple times,
Yeah.
but not too often, no.
No, that's good. It sounds like they're very supportive. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Good
of
for you.
course.
Yeah, I
Good for
mean, you
you.
could always. I have an easy answer for that. If anybody says, why are you not acting like a normal kid? We'll say, give me a normal country.
Mhm. Yes,
Exactly.
that's a
Yes.
great answer.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, I'm curious too, Anthony, your perspective on, being so young. I mean, obviously, Todd and I were both old enough to, be able to say things like, wow, this is not the America that I grew up in and things like that. But
Mhm.
but I mean, even I'm curious if even at your very young age, do you feel that way at all?
I mean, this is kinda what I'm used to.
Yeah.
Wow.
In 2016, Trump was elected, so I don't really remember too much before that when
Y-
Obama was president. I don't really, like, remember that too much. It's kinda just, like, what I've gotten involved with.
So that was
Right.
just like a children's storybook about like once upon a time the United States functioned and there was peace, basically.
Yes, it's getting worse as the chapters go on, I'd say.
Yeah, yeah, it's really
Mhm.
scary.
Yes.
Yeah. I've called the publishers though. I'm trying to get the show canceled. I'm trying to get the book canceled. So hopefully, with all of your help, we'll make that happen.
Yeah.
Because that show's run on too long, as far as I'm concerned. I feel like it's just, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I agree.
So how did you? So tell us about your involvement in terms of the anti-ice. I assume are you a resident of Merrimack?
I am, yes.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah,
how'd you get
so
involved in Ice Out? I guess is that what we're calling the movement?
yes, that's pretty much what it's being called in Merrimack.
Okay.
I have been involved with political campaigns. In 2024, I volunteered on a lot of campaigns, including some of the state representatives at Merrimack who are fighting back. Wendy Thomas was just on MSN. MS Now is now what it's called.
Yeah.
She was on there last week. She did really good. I worked on her campaign, very close with her. So I've gotten a lot of knowledge from her on how things work.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, it started off with just volunteering on political campaigns, learning more about how things are working, and then, of course, we know that we didn't get the results that we wanted in the 2024 election. So after that, I kind of just sat back a little bit for some time and looked at what Trump was doing. Um, Looked at all the terrible stuff that he was doing. I mean, withdrawing us from the Paris Climate Agreement, sending ICE agents out to Minneapolis. There's
Hmm.
a whole list of things that I could say. So then I started wanting to really get in the game, fight back against it, get people involved, get myself involved more. So yeah, just trying to get the community involved like I am.
So
Excellent.
obviously you were at the event yesterday.
I actually wasn't able to attend
Oh,
the event yesterday. I had a previous commitment. But
okay.
the first no ice protest that we had in Merrimack, I was there. And it was a great crowd. And what I saw from yesterday, it was a great showing too.
Yeah. My partner Jenny was there yesterday. She was one of the speakers.
Nice.
You mentioned Wendy Thomas too. Jenny was commenting the other night about how well she did when she
Yes.
went on Rachel Maddow and talked about this and how articulate she was and everything. So I know Jenny's been very impressed with her.
Yeah, I'm lucky to have her as my state rep, as well as Rosemary Wong and Nancy Murphy too.
No,
Yeah.
you absolutely are. I mean,
Yes.
unfortunately, I know you're upset, but unfortunately, Jason Osborne isn't your state, or Chris Osborne, or whatever the hell his name is. Which one is he, Jason or Chris? I always forget.
It's Jason Osborne.
Jason Osborne, yeah. But you know what, Matt? I put a soundbite up. I made a nice little comment on WMUR. They did limit what I said. They wouldn't let me get my AOT jabs in there. Unfortunately, I did. Tell her to say hello to Harlan Crow for me, but they didn't let me do that. But anyway, but yeah, I mean, one of my personal goals is to become on Jason Osborne's, number one enemy list. I mean, I'd love that. I'd love him. I hopefully he'll learn my name by heart, and we can become friends.
So tell us more about who this is.
Jason Osborne's that lovely man who happens to be the Speaker of the New Hampshire House, right? Correct?
Yeah, I know that he's a state rep.
He's the one that's really was really instrumental in making sure that the American public knows about us violent liberals and us progressive liberals with all of our automatic weapons and everything. And the way he'd like to stop us is to arm his children, who happen to be Anthony's age, and also their friends. Yeah. So that's his idea of how they say supporting a strong defense. That's his idea of supporting a strong defense.
Oh goodness.
Nothing says a strong defense like child warriors, child soldiers.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, I don't know. I didn't warn you on this. I have a very dark sense of humor, and that's kind of what this show's about. So
we both do, really. So
Yeah.
come to the darkness, Anthony. Come with us.
Yes.
Have you heard of the new term? I've been told now, and I guess I have to be careful how I use it, but I'm proudly wearing a badge, I guess now. I'm not just woke, I'm dark woke, which means that I like to say I have a feline sense of personality. I like to play with my food before I kill it. So,
Fair enough. Don't be frightened, Anthony.
He's not.
No.
Cats are very cruel in how they
they are, but they also are very selective in who they like. And I like Anthony, so he doesn't have to worry. And he's on the good side, right? He's the resistance.
Yes, I am.
So, Anthony, I'm curious too, as a resident there, what's kind of been your perception in terms of how this has been communicated to your town in terms of what's happening there? Because obviously we have a governor who just pretends she just is completely oblivious to everything and has no idea what's what an ice facility in Merrimack. Why do you think I would know anything about that?
Oh, same financier as the one that finances your campaigns, but that's okay.
Right, exactly. But I'm curious, as a resident of the town, Anthony, how do you feel about how things have been communicated to the people there who, have been pretty clear that they don't want this?
Well, first, we're seeing no transparency from Kelly Ayotte. She's not telling any of our town council. She's not telling any of the residents in my town what's going on.
Right.
She's not telling us the plans. And then second, we're not seeing any transparency from the White House and from Donald Trump and his team. It's unacceptable. It's unfair to us as residents. We want to know what's happening in our town. Our town is peaceful. It's a great town to live in, and this could completely change that. This could change if people want to move here. It could change if people are going to move out.
Yeah.
So we need those answers. And I've called Kelly Ayotte's office. I've sent her emails. And I've been demanding that she gives us answers on this. It's unacceptable.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't hold my breath on that one. Anthony, I don't know if you saw this, but actually the thing that made me become quite alarmed by this, and why I really want to use like whatever vehicle I have to make this more of a regional and national issue, is that our friend KKK Caroline there, Levitt, she let it out of the bag kind of about the fact that this isn't just going to be Camp Ayotte, but they'd also like to run raids out of it, and like, it's a great location, come here if you're an ICE agent and, have a cup of coffee and a nice lunch before you go out and steal people off the streets in Lowell, Mass, or Portland, Maine.
So it'll be good for the local economy then.
Yeah.
The local restaurants, they'll be
Right.
serving the coffee and the food to the ICE agents. So,
Right.
Well, that's something to look forward to, Anthony.
It is.
Oh,
Good Lord. So I didn't know that. Caroline Levitt said that?
Yeah, she said, well, because Caroline Levitt, she's very, very, she's excellent at her job. So she like lies and then she unlies. So she'll say like, I'm not confirming that there's a detention center in Merrimack, New Hampshire. However, if there was a detention center coming in Merrimack, New Hampshire, it would be a really great place because it's super centralized and it's near all these other towns that like are not patriotic and supporting our our agenda, just trying to make America safer. They're just pushing back because nothing says safety like unmarked vans and masked marauding agents pulling people off the street, including people your age, Anthony, if you happen to be black and brown. You
Younger
also
than
could
my age too.
Yeah. You could get a one-way free ride into what it looks like inside of Camp Ayotte. You won't even have to pay tuition. She'll take you in without charging you.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
I know, right?
What an opportunity.
I know, right? I mean, I wonder what kind of activities they offer at that camp.
Oh boy.
Oh my God. Dodgeball with rubber bullets.
Do we know anything about at this point? So actually, Todd, you and I in the last episode we had talked about this, about all the there's confusion about how much of this has actually been built. And
well, I mean, unlike some of the other people on the MAGA administration, I tend to believe my eyes and my ears and all of that. And so I see a building. So there's definitely something built.
Someone told me there's been a new road built that goes to it.
Anthony, isn't there like rumors about somebody's talking about how there might be like a speedway entrance from the highway?
Somebody did bring that up on our last meeting. I don't know how accurate that is.
I know.
I think that I know that we have one like main exit and then we have entrance, and then another one, but it's like blocked off that you can't get into with a vehicle.
And it's interesting. You got to be very careful how you design those, because being that I spent 20 years in DC, there was this area of the Rock Creek Parkway, and like, everybody goes and like, if you take the wrong turn, it's not marked very well either because they want to make it secret. But if you take the wrong turn, you end up at the front gates of the CIA office, which at Langley, which isn't great, because then what happens is like, it looks a little shady because here you are thinking you're just taking an exit to your friend's house or whatever. You take the wrong exit because you're not paying attention. And it's weird because they want to keep it discreet, but like they probably should still mark it a little bit like, at the entrance, because then what happens is people frequently take this exit and end up like, thinking they're headed to an exit. They go down a little bit ways and now they're at the front gate of like Langley. And of course, then guards come out and they're like, what are you doing here? And that's sketchy. So like, the whole point of that is that I feel like highway entrances to government concentration camps or like, various types of top secret bases is not really a great idea.
Although, to be fair, if it's Merrimack, they could put a toll on the ramp to the facility, which would be very on brand.
How about just like a special speed pass that you have to have, like
right,
if you're going into the
Oh goodness.
Oh God. So
So,
yeah, but right now though, I will have to say, if you want to go see it, by all means go see it. I was there today. Did you get that picture I sent, Matt? You should put that
oh
picture up. I should send it to you. I
yeah,
photobombed the base today because like the Mick Cop they have, the Keystone Cop that they have, he had gone into the cave there and driven off. And so like when I arrived, there was literally zero security. I mean, there was a strongly worded letter saying, do not enter. But
oh,
and a couple sawhorses. But somehow I feel like that's not going to stop any type of real incursion into the camp. But that's all they had. So I took it upon myself to take one of the signs that your friend designed, Anthony, and we have it sitting right next to there. And so right next to do not enter, whatever, it's right next to the address sign. And so now people can identify in case they are curious where the location is. And then just as I was pulling the sign off, the Keystone Cop started to come out again. So I don't know, maybe they have sensors in the woods that,
oh, they very well may. Todd, Todd, that picture that you sent me, that you texted me, is that online anywhere?
I can make it online. Yeah, but it should be.
Are you able to send it to me in Messenger?
Yeah.
Because for some reason I can't get it from my phone to anywhere else via text. But if you send it to me via Messenger, I can download it and put it up. Yeah, because that's a good picture.
Anthony, being a Zoomer here, is laughing at us because he's like, oh my God, like this is stuff I do in my sleep, and these guys can't even.
Anthony, I'm curious. So, obviously we know what our governor has communicated or not communicated. She acts oblivious, and we know she's lying. And, I think that she's just gone full MAGA and figures, well, in MAGA, obviously the orange emperor, he just lies and it's fine. But like what has been coming out of from local officials there in Merrimack? Like I don't know if you have a mayor or a town manager or
we have a town council.
You have a town council. Okay.
Yes.
Like what do they say about it?
Well, our town council actually is doing a great job pushing back against this. They all sent out a letter saying that they're opposed to this facility, and they sent it to the White House. They're against it, which is really good. And a lot of the town is against it too. I've seen Republicans, Independents, and Democrats come out against this. They don't want it in the town, and we want to stop it from being in the town.
Yeah. I mean, I don't blame them. It's a very dangerous thing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we know these boys, these boys and girls in the ICE, marching band don't know how to behave very well. I mean, they don't know how to, walk across the street without beating up people, or, they just, and frankly, they're just bullies with badges. I mean, and I think, one of the things we've talked about, I think, and I don't know what your feelings are on this, Anthony, but do you happen to know sort of what's going on with like, your police force? Like, how are they reacting to it?
Ooh, good question. I'm very curious about that too.
I don't really know too much about that. So I couldn't really answer that question.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
One thing that's kind of interesting that we are finding is like, it's kind of a mixed bag with that. I mean, of course you do have your like hardcore, MAGA, sheriffs that were just waiting to come out as like, biased racists, and now they can, and they're so thrilled. But we also, quite a few policemen, especially if you look at towns that are both blue or purple, your town being, of course, I would say probably purple. It's probably fairly accurate, right?
Yep.
They're not too keen on the idea, because the problem is that like, if you, so one thing they want to do, and what they do in a lot of towns, is they love these tag-along games. So they like it when people, they think it's okay. You know how like sometimes, they'll let journalists do ride-alongs. Well, these ICE agents think they should be able to do ride-alongs. So basically, if you call and say, oh my God, my grandfather, there's this emergency, I think he might be having a cardiac arrest. These dudes and dudettes think they should be able to follow the ambulance in the police car to make sure it's not an immigrant having a heart attack. Yeah. I mean, this is just like absurd.
Well, that definitely shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I mean, they have these quotas apparently, and they want to rack up those numbers. So they go for the low hanging fruit. And, Todd, it's like, I think we were talking about this recently, how, there were record numbers of deportations under, for example, Barack Obama.
Yeah.
But you never heard, for some crazy reason, you never heard about people being murdered in the street or anything like that.
So his efforts, and I'm not okaying his efforts, because and also, as they say, I think looking back on it, I definitely, now that I see the slippery slope that it created, I think it would have been better, certainly with a sane Democrat in office, if we had addressed this. But there it is, Camp Ayotte, come on in.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, it was mostly at, and again, not to excuse it, but it was mostly at the site of the border crossings and things of that nature.
Yeah.
They did have a horrible situation where they were putting people in cages. That was horrific. And unfortunately, even the Democrats were doing this. So that's certainly not acceptable. But at the end of the day, I mean, I think it was, I guess, as far as making sure that the violence or the potential violence was kept away from the general population, they did do a better job with that.
Sure.
So again, it's not to say it's all in levels, right? I mean, I'm not excusing what happened. We now know, even more so now, how that was just, it was horrible in its standalone, but it also, I think, set a really horrible precedent.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, immigration activists used to refer to Obama as the deporter in chief, because they didn't like it. And there were a lot of deportations. I mean, I don't know the numbers offhand, but I know that also under Biden, there were a lot of deportations, and they like to claim, oh, Biden opened borders and just let all these people in. No, it's not really what was going on. But facts don't matter to them regardless.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the argument of whether or not we need immigration reform is certainly a valid argument, but I think that, how you deal with people coming in illegally versus how we deal with people that are already here, A, that should be very different. B, these people are contributing members of society, in some cases bigger contributing members than the jerk-offs that vote MAGA and just sit around and collect Social Security and welfare and SNAP and all that, and still bitch about social programs. These poor people can't get those programs, and they still go to work every day. And P.S., they still pay taxes. I mean, there's this whole misnomer that, like, oh, these illegal aliens, as they like to call them, don't pay taxes. Well, they sure as hell do.
Yep, absolutely. You cannot participate in the American economy without paying taxes in some some form or fashion. Yeah, you're contributing to the tax base, and you're contributing to the American economy.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's just a fact. But but some people are so blinded by their racism or xenophobia. If I'm talking about racism, but I'm trying to be kind for whatever reason, but they're so blinded by that they, they believe all these tropes about, oh, they come to this country and they just get everything handed to them and all this stuff that is objectively not true.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing I did find something very interesting. I don't know if I told you this, Anthony, but I was listening to a podcast and it gave a little bit of insights as to how this can possibly happen. And I do think one of the things that, more progressive and more Democrat leaning people should do is go to these places and educate them as well. Because what happens is we almost buy into the belief system that they don't want us there anyway. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. And the only people they see, even as like quasi leaders, are these like super conservative, hate monger, MAGA style Republicans. And then they go, oh my God. And then it kind of makes sense. If like you're very poor and you're not running the show, and the only people you see come in front of you that seem to have some sort of sense of like power and influence are these people, then it probably doesn't take a lot for them to lie to you and be like, well, yeah, we believe this, but we're also the ones giving you your food programs and this and that. and it wouldn't even honestly benefit them, because it's like the whole bite the hands that feed you. Why would they dive into that deeper and be like, are they really the ones giving us our food? Because they're not in a position to do so. And so I do think that you know, as even like I heard Pete Buttigieg say recently at a speech, like, okay, so we win, then what? You know what I mean? I think we have to like really start reassessing this, so that like the catalysts that are in place that make people even consider this as a viable option, we take those right off the playing board, you know, because they realize. And that's also why I think it's so important that we tell this story. That's why I refuse to like downplay any of it. And if it hurts AOC's reputation, it hurts her financial investments, it hurts, you know, it makes her sleep a little less soundly at night, then so be it. I mean, these are her actions. Like, I won't do anything. I certainly would not call for like, you know, hordes of people to attack her home. Absolutely not. But like, there were consequences for hurting people, and there are consequences for, you know, going to war with your citizens, for God's sake. I mean, these are like granite staters, and she's going to war with her own people.
Yeah. Well said. Well said.
So I don't know. And they will try to play this off, Anthony. Just so you know, you're probably newer to this game, but they're going to try to blame you and say like, I think Osborne just said this. He said, well, you know, if you guys, you know, you're the ones going to cause the problems, because then, you know, people are going to be afraid of the ICE agents and stuff, like as if we needed to say these people did these things for people to realize they're scary.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I needed to hang a sign saying these people are creeps.
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Anthony, I'm curious about something. What about at school? So we talked about your family.
That's a good one.
Yeah, we talked about your family and their reactions, and it sounds like they're very supportive, which is wonderful. But what about at school?
Well, and people are starting to get more frustrated, I'll say. In 2024, my school was filled with Trump supporters. It was Trump was the cool thing. They wanted him to get elected. But now, ever since that people are seeing what's happening on the news, the tides are turning. People are starting to ask me, can you plan a walkout? When's the next protest? How can we message our governor? How can we get in contact with the White House and say that we're opposed to this? So it's definitely changing. I mean, I'm happy to see it. I answered so many questions every day from people in my school that are wondering what to do. So it's great. Yeah.
So you're recruiting them, Anthony. They're afraid now.
Yes.
No, that's good though. But
it's excellent.
But you said something both interesting and troubling. So in 24, I mean, was it real? Like Trump was like the cool.
He was the cool thing. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
We had our 8th grade trip to Washington D.C. The year prior, and the cool thing on that trip was everybody was buying a Trump hat. And they were posting on social media, Trump this, Trump that. They were trying to get our teachers to wear Trump hats, which they didn't. They're not allowed to share their political opinions.
Right.
But it was just that it was that bad. And to see it changing so much now is a really good sign.
Yeah. It is a good sign. Yeah, I wonder if I'm not a teenager, obviously, but my experience with this was back in 2024. I was holding a visibility rally in Milford, and there were a group of teenage boys, probably about your age, maybe a little bit younger, a little bit older, but around the same age. And they came in, and like at first they came in with like these Trump signs, and it clearly what they literally done probably was just take like "Make America Great Again" sign off somebody's lawn. It wasn't like it was their signs, and they were like basically trying to I think they were just trying to be part of the action and part of the excitement, because like it didn't take a lot for me to like talk to them. I mean, unfortunately there were some, and this is the thing I think all of us, and I would never do, I think we need to be responsible about, is that like obviously my reaction to like a MAGA teenager is going to be very different than my reaction to like some, open carry commando that's like, trying to threaten people that I love and care about and scare us all. There's a very big difference, right? Like a 16-year-old waving a MAGA sign, I don't suddenly like shaking my boots. I'm not afraid of this, right? And so I just asked the kid outright, and then after a very simple conversation with the kid, and then also Wendy Thomas, from no, not Wendy Thomas, the Wendy who ran for executive council in Nashua. I can't remember her name.
I'll see if I can find it. I'll see if I can find it.
But anyway, she spoke to them too. And by the time like someone like a big brother character and a motherly character talked to them, they had dropped their MAGA sign and asked us to hold our signs, and were like protesting on with us. So like, you know, I don't know. Do you think, is it that kind of thing? Like, is it cool because they know, well, although Merrimack's a little different, but like in some families, I'm sure like if they were my kids, I would be bullshit if they were like waving MAGA signs. And like, I'm sure parents, like, you know, I'm not that old. Like, I remember it was kind of cool to push your parents' buttons. So do you think that's part of it? Or
yeah, it's possible. I think that people my age especially like to be a part of something. So when they see their friends becoming a part of this group, they want to join it, and then it's just kind of a cycle that they get into. So that's probably a mix of different things. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, do you have any kids that stand up and like really truly follow him, like little you know, future Charlie Kirks, and they can actually like, you know, like espouse, you know, propaganda that they say and stuff like that, or just like, oh, make America great again, that's cool? Because to me, they're two different categories.
I mean, I would say that it's a mix. I don't think that any of the people that support Trump, at least my age in Merrimack, actually want to like become a politician or become an influencer. I think that it's more just trying to get attention.
Got it.
Yeah.
So then you could technically lead them away from the dark side and have them like, you know.
Well, I could try, but I don't know if I want to take that on.
No? Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Maybe just hand them like little cards, like if you happen to want to, you know, if you're in trouble, dial this number and we'll save you. You know, like like the Covenant House for MAGA children, you know, like I don't know. I mean, I guess to be fair, I'm no parent. I'm an uncle, but I'm no parent. And I don't know if I could handle all of these children coming to me. And now I suddenly have to be this like quasi father figure to like all of these like misguided children. It might be a lot.
It'd be a lot to take on. Yeah. Anthony, has anybody ever like, has it ever gotten contentious with you and another student over any of this, or with one of these MAGA kids?
No, not really. Everybody kind of minds their own business, and yeah.
Well, there's hope. I mean, I feel like Merrimack and like, you know, the Free Staters are really going to be upset because looks like our infiltration into Merrimack is really working very well. Because you do know at one point your school, your town was one of the towns that was like boycotting books and libraries, and like you were pretty staunch. Yeah, there was a while where you were going the route of Pelham.
Merrimack was always a very red red town. I mean, sorry. And it's turning. We're becoming purple. We're starting to elect more Democrats to Concord as state reps. So I think that there's potential. So I'm excited to see how 2026 goes.
Yeah.
The wave is beginning. I mean, look, geez, my God, look what's happening in Texas.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
well, I think also like when all you have to offer is like lies and threats, after a while, people are like, what? Like, what am I getting here? Like,
right.
You know, I don't get anything for this. I don't even get a consolation prize. Like, what's the deal here?
Right. And everything's more expensive. I thought it was going to be less expensive.
I know, like literally everything you promise is wrong.
Yeah.
Your threats are empty because now every time, like for everything you get past, like, you know, 9 things are knocked down. So like, you know, all these, you know, people are clearly not going to fight you. So, and you're 80 something years old and, you know, would rather sit and talk about whole milk than the state of the nation. So like, why am I going to follow you? Follow you what, off a cliff? I mean, this man is like, seriously.
Well, he doesn't care. He knows he's going to be dead soon. He doesn't care about it. You know,
I think
it doesn't matter to him.
I think he's delusional. I think he's like, he really, really, really like the crazier he gets, the more he reminds me. And I used to say, no one could be like this. But like, I would literally, as far as like crazy delusional level, dictator wise, I would put him in the level of like Muammar Gaddafi now and like the leader of like South Korea. No, because he's as delusional
Yeah.
and wants as nutty of things. Like that's the kind of crap they would do. They'd be like, "Oh, let's build a golden basketball court." I mean, this is just ridiculous. This is like absurd.
Right. It is.
I mean, are we even in a First Nation? This is like what like tyrants in these countries that are like military tyrants, you know, like in Uganda and stuff do when they take over. And this guy is like, you know, at one point, I mean, I would say he's failed, but at one point he was supposed to be leader of the free world. I mean, the free world has since like canceled that membership, but
yeah, they're not exactly
Canada?
flocking to his board of peace.
Right. Oh, his board of peace that's going to launch a war.
Yeah. He changes the Department of the Defense and the Department of War, but then he launches the Board of Peace.
Well, he's got, you know, he's got Roid Rage 1 and Roid Rage 2.
Yeah.
You know, he's got like, you know, Bath Salt's FBI guy, you know, Kash Patel, who looks like his eyes are bugging out of his head.
Yeah.
And then he's got, you know, Steroid King, who runs the Department of Defense, War, whatever it is, you know, who's just always angry. He's like an angry man that's not like having enough sex. I don't know. He's crazy. He's like, what is wrong with that man?
Right.
Hegseth. I mean, he's a real prize.
Yeah.
I wonder where they're going to work when this is all done. I feel like
what, where they're going to work?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like
Hegseth will just go back to Fox. That's an easy one. He's got.
Well, that's true, I guess. Yeah, that is true.
They'll open up a weekend position for him, just like before.
For Hegseth.
Yeah, he'll go back to being the weekend guy on Fox and Friends.
Oh, okay.
And maybe Caroline Levitt, she'll end up on Fox. She's young and attractive.
They'll all end up on Fox because that's the only place they have to go.
A lot of them, Fox or Newsmax.
Right. And then all of the tech oligarchs, especially depending on how we take the power, they'll come groveling back to us and be like, "Oh, we really didn't mean that." Like, you know, that was they'll say just like Ayotte, they'll say that was one of our assistants that gave that deposit to Trump. That wasn't us. Right. We didn't know.
Anthony, I'm curious about the reaction from your teachers. And I know this might get tricky because obviously teachers are not supposed to show their political affiliations. But I'm just curious if anyone has kind of covertly had a conversation with you about any of this, or and please tell us their names. No, I'm just kidding. We don't. I'm kidding. We don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I am curious though. Like, have you gotten any reactions from some of the teachers at your school?
I'd say sort of. I'm not really going to go into detail about it.
Yeah, got it. Of course. No, we don't want you to.
People all around town, whether they're a teacher, a doctor, a small business owner, they're frustrated by it. So
that's good. That's very good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And are you optimistic, or like what do you think? What do you think the end game is here? Like how does this all play out?
Well, yeah, I think we're going to see a blue wave in these midterms that are coming up. I'm already volunteering on some campaigns that I'm really excited about. Getting ready to send some great candidates to the Congress, to our state house. So it's going to be great.
No, absolutely. Anthony, you know, do you think that I kind of liken this whole scenario into almost two phases? And like right now, I feel like we're in phase one, which is still like stopping this thing. Not to say, I mean, it's kind of like in business, and this is basically a business transaction. Things aren't done until they're fully done, and people pull out of contracts all the time. So it's
we just lost Anthony.
That's okay. They cut him off. They're like, uh-oh.
We'll see if he, hopefully he pops right back in.
Hopefully he does.
That happens occasionally. But did you censor yourself earlier because we had a young person on the show?
Why?
I know you started to say shit and then you said crap. Like you changed, but you changed it.
No,
like
I don't
right
remember. No,
it was funny. You probably did it subconsciously.
Oh.
Anthony's back. Hi, Anthony.
Hi. Well, I actually do have to get heading out. But thank you so much for having me on here.
Are you going to be on the call coming up?
Possibly. It's at 7:30, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I might be on there.
Oh, you all have a call tonight?
We do. We're going to just talk all the time and call all the time and constantly bother these people to death until they finally we're hoping they just get so annoyed they leave.
Yeah.
And seriously, that's a peaceful way to do it. I mean, I just want to be an annoyance to them. Like,
right. Right. Exactly.
And they are doing a good job so far. I don't know if you know, Anthony, I know you have to go, but like, have you gotten involved in any of the watching or anything? I mean, it really is. Oh, there he goes again.
Oh,
anyway,
he's
yeah,
back.
so, okay, well.
Hi, Anthony.
Hi.
Anthony, you're the Zoomer. You're supposed to be understanding technology right now. Come on.
I know it's all disconnecting, but before it disconnects again, thank you for having me.
Of course.
And I appreciate it. So
all right, we'll have you come on another time once things change. Once things progress.
Yeah, we'll do it again in the future.
On, my friend.
I look forward to it. Thank
you. Soon. Bye-bye.
Right. Thanks, Anthony. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, very good. That is Anthony Pelletier. Yes.
Great kid, huh? Gives me hope.
Remarkable young man. Absolutely. So
he's younger than I thought he was too. I did not know he was only 16.
Yeah. He's a young man. And no, part of why I was so curious about the reaction from his fellow students is, of course. I forget where it is. Have you seen this video of there's a high school where this MAGA kid is going around with his phone and he's taking video and he's trying to disrupt some sort of event or something that's going on within the school. And there's this other kid who, and I mentioned that he's overweight only because it might help you to remember. If you've seen the video, that might help you to remember, or anyone who's watching or listening might remember mentioning that detail. And this big kid, he says to the MAGA kid who was holding the phone, and by the way, I never advocate or condone violence, but the video is kind of funny. So the kid who is upset by the MAGA kid just looks straight into the phone and says, "I'm going to punch you in the face if you don't go away." And the MAGA kid, he continues to just talk to him and taunt him. And so the big kid, he just punches him right in the face. Again, I'm not saying that's okay.
I mean,
but it is kind of funny.
But in some ways, I think that if it's like, I don't really see it as necessarily as violence, as like a kid, like there is a point where a person is being bullied, and at some point they have to stand up for themselves. And if it's something as benign as like a schoolyard brawl type situation where no one is like, the worst case scenario is maybe someone gets a bloody nose. I mean, no bones are broken, whatever. Then that's how kids deal with their stuff. I mean, it's not, I don't think we have to like, and it's understandable, I mean, why these kids would be so angry.
Right. Sorry about that. I don't know if if you could hear that, Todd. Sorry about that little audio there. I'm trying to I'm gonna grab that video and just download it because I want to show it to you. It sounds like you haven't seen it, and some of our
no, I haven't.
Some of our viewers might not have seen it either. And even for audio listeners, this might be interesting.
I mean, we had a situation happen at the last rally, and I think that kudos to my friends that stopped the situation. I mean, like this guy was yelling or whatever. I don't even know. See, the thing is, like, I just handle things very differently. It's like, when I'm in my zone, I don't even think about it. Like, it's almost like, to me, they're a non-issue. Like, I'm not going to like go leaping across like a million snowbanks to save. I mean, obviously if their lives were in peril, that's different, but like to save them from getting pushed down, like, it's kind of like there's consequences for your actions, and I'm not going to do that to you, but it doesn't mean other people aren't. And there's a lot of people that are angry. And I think that MAGA people have to realize that there are angry people on our side too. And, prior to whatever anybody's told you, even though I would consider myself a leadership in the resistance, I don't have control over all these people, and they're not going to listen to me anyway, to be quite honest.
Right. Like, exactly. I have the sorry, Todd, I have the video here. I'm just going to see if I can, upload this really quick. So I don't remember what school this was in.
Yeah. But so anyway, in summation, if you're going to go threaten people, if you're going to scare people, then at some point it's fight or flight. And on both sides, people are sometimes going to fight, not just flight.
Right. Exactly.
I mean,
it's processing the video. It's almost there. But yeah. And again, like I said, I don't condone what happens here. Okay, here we go. I've got it.
I support ICE.
I guess in that way, I feel like we don't need to like belabor that kind of stuff, because I just feel like we're artists in some ways, we're personalities. It's not really our place. Like, it is our place not to go out and go like, oh yeah, like, go fight the enemy or whatever. Like I wouldn't, say that to like kids or whatever, but it's also not our place to like be making sure that, these people are allowed to be racist, homophobic, misogynist in as safe of an environment as possible. Like it's not my job.
Here's the video. It's only 24 seconds.
I support ICE.
That's just how I feel.
I don't know what's crazy about this.
Yeah, I'm going to punch you.
Watch this. A student at a Chicago high school shouted, "I support ICE" during an anti-ICE protest.
I mean, I grew up in a time
Another
where, like,
student responded,
if you were
"I'm
stupid
going
enough
to
to drop
punch
the
you,"
N-word to a
and
kid
the
that the
situation
N-word
quickly
meant something, then
escalated
you're
into
probably
a
going to get punched in the nose.
confrontation.
Like,
You're gonna punch me?
And
you're gonna get in trouble for
nothing
that.
you and I can do as an adult to like.
So there it is. Yeah. So he tells him, "I'm going to punch you," and then he follows through.
Right.
And,
right.
Yeah. But yeah. Again, not condoning that, but
no, but I unfortunately think that's all some of these people understand.
Yeah.
And again, this is literally, I don't see it as anything more or less extreme than like a sports game that gets a little bit overly aggressive. Like, a basketball game where people like are like, damn it, it's my ball. And then they end up on a little tuffle, whatever you want to call it.
Tussle? I think it's tussle. I don't know much about sports ball.
I don't either. But the point is, and I think it matters. Like 16-year-old doing that versus a 60-year-old doing that is very different. So like,
yeah,
that's kids.
No, I agree. Anything you wanted to say about the event yesterday in Merrimack? I know you were there. Jenny was there.
I
She
was
told me
very
something about
impressed.
it,
I think it's good. I really think that kind of what I said about that whole operation game. I mean, I really think that's the direction things are going. So I think it's sort of on us to make this much more of a regional and national issue. There's no reason why, if oh my God, I can't even speak. If Minneapolis gets this kind of traction, I mean, let's hope it doesn't go to that level, right? But like, we don't need to let it wait to go to that level before we start to show this, because and so this is, I guess, my point. I feel like something's brewing, right? And in some ways, ironically, the dark side should be thanking us for doing what we're doing, because we're preventing them from a whole hell of a lot of whiplash, getting their butt kicked, because people want to see off ramps and people want to see an out. And if we weren't doing what we're doing, then I do think it could ratchet up to like violent resistance much faster, because as much as they think we're generating violence, we're actually suppressing the violence, because we're giving people an outlet to express their frustrations and their aggravations in a safe and non-violent environment.
That's true.
They should hope we're doing it.
Right.
Because when we stop doing it, I don't know. There are some very angry people out there.
Yes, there are. Absolutely.
And rightfully so. And so, I don't want to see it get to that point. And so in many ways, I'm doing both sides of service, right? Like, as crazy as it sounds, I mean, no one ever called me a peacemaker, but I am indirectly being a peacemaker. Like, people should worry about, it's when we stop talking and we stop doing these things that it'll be an issue.
But unfortunately, they don't appreciate that. They call us domestic terrorists.
Well, then they'll unfortunately discover what domestic terrorism is, I think, unfortunately. And that's what's so scary. There are groups out there, and, rightfully so, wrongfully so, whatever it is, like some of them I understand, because, generations upon generations of these people have just been abused, and it's so easy for us to say, well, they shouldn't resort to violence. Well, that's true. They shouldn't in an ideal world, but they're not faced in an ideal world. I mean, everything's lined up against these people. So I like to look at things in a realistic, under a realistic scope. Like I can't tell people, oh, my phone thing. Yeah. I can't.
Catchy tune.
It's like, it's like, I don't know, during slave revolts, like they grabbed these slavers and they murdered them. And, I don't know if it's my place to be telling them, like, you shouldn't be that angry. I mean, that's a different example, but it's like, if literally you're looking at like a style of like incarceration, which at the very minimum, you're going to be scared shitless on. And it seems like in many cases, because these people don't have any level of like limitations, people, even if it's just nothing more than the fact that they're just callous, are going to end up getting hurt, and more people are going to end up getting killed. Then the more that happens, the more people start saying to themselves, like, well, what do I have to lose? Like, why would I follow the rules? Why would I, you know, if I listen to these people, I still get shot. Like, what's the benefit? Why would I listen to them? And that's what I'm afraid of. I really am very, and I don't think that's that hyperbole to say. I mean, I think, you know,
no, I agree
let
with
the
you.
general public know that's, ironically, that's out of our hands. Like, if they think we have any control, that just like they have zero control over the extreme right end of things and people that are like desperate on the right side, believe it or not, whether they think we do or not, we don't have some magic, you know, control panel like that everybody that happens to believe what we believe will do so in the same calculated, nonviolent way. Like there's, you know, there's plenty of people that I couldn't begin to control.
Yeah, exactly.
That believe in what I believe, and they still won't listen. You know, it doesn't matter.
And it's not our responsibility to control.
Not our responsibility. And I do think that the people in power, it's their responsibility, because it's their actions that are the powder keg. I mean, they're the ones igniting the flame.
But the big difference too, though, between us and them, and I think this is worth pointing out, is if that happens on our side, we call it out. If that happens on their side, they excuse it, they rationalize it, they call us domestic terrorists for having a problem with what they do.
I think I'm going to take a different stance, but a different stance. My new stance is like, and I don't consider this excuses, but I am going to start painting the picture realistically for people, because I also don't think I'm really kind of annoyed by like every time anything happens where, yes, things get to be extreme, but yet like a lot of our people, especially some of our establishment people, are so quick to like scold our side and, you know, or scold people that really are just desperate. And I think we need to start looking at this realistically. You know, and so to me, I'm not going to continue to like demonize them. I'm not going to encourage it, but I am going to offer some insights to it, you know, as to why it's happening. And to some extent, I am going to offer an olive branch and be like, look, it's not my choice of you dealing with it in this way. And I would love to show you a different way. But I'm also not going to cut them off because they dealt with it that way, if that makes any sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And it's not something that we've had to deal with much either.
No, it's not. Because my concern is that if things don't, especially like, I guess if you're like the top of the ladder person, you know, like obviously you want all this because you're just power mongers and that's all you want.
Right.
But like the tiers slightly below them, like they're inheriting they should be careful what they wish for. They're not going to get a good, this is a disaster.
Yeah.
Like they're not inheriting, like you don't want to be like king of a kingdom where everyone hates you. Like, and you know, that's what's starting to happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, because you can't control that. After a while, you can't control that.
Right. That's true. There's many examples from history.
Right. I mean,
ask Muammar Gaddafi.
Right.
Just one random example.
Right. I mean, I never have used any intimidation, fear, anything with people on my side. You know what I mean? Like, I'm all about like, try to guide people. I want people to respect me and look up to me, not like think I'm some, you know, jerk or like a tyrant or anything. Like, and honestly, you're getting a lot more loyalty with that too. Like people people that do things for me do it because I'm worth respecting, and I treat them with respect as well.
Right.
Not because I order people or scare people or
of course
intimidate people.
Yeah. Well, what's the expression? You get more flies with honey.
Yeah.
It's true.
I don't really want flies, so you know, maybe like hummingbirds.
You get more hummingbirds with honey?
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather hummingbirds. Flies are gross.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't want flies.
I agree. When I was a kid, I just remember.
You're right, that is the saying.
That is the saying. I just remember.
How about bees? Bees.
Bees are good. I mean,
bees are great animals. Bees are great. They're fabulous for our society.
We need bees. If the bees ever die, we all die. Because then
there's an example. Maybe that's a metaphor. That's an example of the left has gone a little bit more like, you know, they're a little bit angry, right? Like bees sting you, but they're still beautiful animals. Like,
Right.
so, you know, I'm going to support them. I'm going to support the bees.
Yes. They support us. No, I was going to say, when I was a kid, I remember my grandparents at their house, they had the fly paper outside on the porch that would catch all the flies, and it was kind of gross, but
Can
I
we get
guess
ice fly paper? Can we catch all the
that's
ice
a good idea.
agents?
Just catch them all on some paper, and then
Yeah, and then we'll like release them, catch and release. We'll like bring them somewhere.
we'll deport them. We'll send them to El Salvador or something. I don't know.
A red state. We could send them to Mississippi.
Well, they'd be happy. They'd be happy there. I don't know
That's
if
fine.
we want to do that.
Hey, that's the other thing I've come to terms with. I don't care if they're happy.
Yeah.
I just want them to stop wrecking my happiness. Like,
Right.
So if you guys want to find some cesspool that you all want to live in, that's cool. Like, and P.S. We're not going to and you'll be safe there. We're not going to break down the door to get in.
Right.
Get in
Right.
Florida. I will give you Florida. You can have it.
Yep. That sounds good to me.
I'm still going to keep pushing for like Mar-a-Lago to become a super, like a supermax. I really am. I mean, I think this is, and it will lure them in. Like, I won't get a lot of fight that way, right? And
right.
Then you can't call me torturous or evil, because that's their version of luxury. So, like, you know, fake gold. I mean, you know, hey.
All right. Well, Todd, it's been an hour, and I know you have a call to get on, so maybe episode 14 in the books. But that was great talking with. Again, thank you to Anthony Pelletier, remarkable young man.
Thank you so much, Anthony.
Yeah, absolutely. And Todd, thank you. Where can people find you if they want to keep up with everything you're doing?
So, you know, you can find me I'll be at all the Ice Out rallies now. I'm also still working on the Sarah Trzynski campaign. She right now is in DC fighting the international tyrant Putin, and
Excellent.
You know, in memoriam of all of the stuff that happened with the Ukraine. You know, because all that stuff goes hand in hand.
Yes.
You know, we can see what happened there, and no, we don't want that to happen here. You know, and all of that. So like all social media, so Facebook, Instagram, follow links on YouTube, on Hanging Left here. You know, I'm everywhere. I'm
Absolutely. And of course, you can subscribe to Hanging Left on your podcast platform of choice. Absolutely, please. And if it's on YouTube that you enjoy the program, please like and subscribe. And of course, you can go to my website, mattconnerton.com, to keep up with everything that I'm doing, especially if you want to book a hypnosis session. I just had someone cancel because the weather tomorrow. I was supposed to have a session tomorrow at 5:30, and they just canceled. But I'm sure they'll reschedule.
Can you hypnotize ICE agents and make them not want to be ICE agents?
Can't hypnotize anyone against their will, unfortunately. But if I could, I would. Absolutely. All right, that'll do it for us then. Todd, thank you very much, and thank you everybody. Episode 14, Hanging Left. We'll talk at you next time.
Talk at you next time.